So welcome back to my channel. My name is Ryan James and I am an artist, and today we are going to do a sketchbook tour. I started this sketchbook back in 2022 and it is a hobbycraft sketchbook, nothing incredible. I would not buy another one of these, I do not recommend, but I got halfway through sort of drawing this out before I realized that adding any kind of insane color or any kind of color wash buckled the paper, so it didn't come out too well, but I committed to the thing and I like to finish one of these every single year, although I always seem to finish it about 6 months to 8 months too late. But anyway, here we go for a look. So firstly, please excuse my table. It is gross. I should have given it a good wash before I decided to record on it. But anyway, just so you're aware that these sketchbooks are, for me, always part visual diary, part sketchbook. I sometimes explore ideas in them, sometimes I will just write down random thoughts, sometimes I write down quotes from movies that I'm watching while sketching. But anyway, here we go. So page number 1, I always start my sketchbooks since the last couple of years with a monster self-portrait. So those are my eyes and an octopus I decided to put around there. I think this is a prompt from Drawloween or Halloween, and I saw it in a sketchbook somewhere of somebody starting a sketchbook with a self-portrait. I thought, well, it's a good idea. So there's a couple of words there about me and introducing myself to my own sketchbook. Like I said, part of it is just me talking and getting stuff out of my head. I like to collect cut-out bits of magazines. This was from a series of sketches I was doing based around spiders. They tend to be a common theme in my work recently, and I'm not entirely a giant fan how all of them come up, but that's what a sketchbook is for, primarily testing ideas. Some of them work, some of them don't. This one, not so much. I was trying to get a bit more focused on the whole woodsy theme and working on antlers, but it just didn't sit right, not for me anyway. That's another experiment that I try to do. This one I think might actually make a good a sticker if I designed that, and this is again, I do like the illustration aspects of what I'm doing, but I'm working right now a bit harder on more realism and incorporating more realism into it. But I also really do like just sort of quirky, big, bug-eyed illustrations as well. I like them both. This was kind of me just, again, jotting some thoughts down. Oh, these are all done in watercolors and watercolor pencils, and then I go over them in some graphite and things like that just to get some of the depth in and make the eyes look the way I like them to look. This was actually a sketch for a painting that I did, and I'm gonna see if I can actually use some internet magic to incorporate some of that paintings in here. And where I've actually turned these into paintings, I think I'll try and put them in the vlog if I can. My editing skills are not amazing, but we can but try. Yeah, I've loved this picture for ages. I'm kind of, I want to draw it up, but I haven't. I didn't do it in this sketchbook, and I do not know why. This was the idea for a canvas I was going to do, but the second I drew her onto the canvas, it just did not come out well, and so I decided not to do it, and she just exists now as a sketch. Okay, so I got kind of bored of just the illustrations and just doing basically characters for a bit, so I thought I'd experiment and try and get some color on a canvas and just put features in it and see how it would go. And it didn't turn out as I wanted it to. It didn't turn out the way I visualized it, but I think it might be an interesting idea to explore a bit later on, but with more acrylics and more canvases, more that kind of medium I think would help. This is kind of where you start to see the paper buckling. I'm not sure if you picked it up on camera, but it's not amazing, and it did not, if you put too much paint on it. That's why there's so many cutouts and so many pieces of paper that I like, although I do put them in my sketchbooks anyway. But this is where these are, yeah, these are just, it's irritating. But I do like the design on this one, and I think if I could just do maybe a more realistic face and take that whole swirly horns into a different direction, adding an actual body so she's not just a floating head. But like I said, this is about ideas. These are just a few illustrations I chucked together. I like using origami birds in my work. If you've seen any of these before, you'll know that. And this was, I found these cat-shaped post-it notes, and they're amazing, and they're everywhere throughout this sketchbook. So you're gonna have to learn to live with that. I wanted to try out a slightly different illustration style, just playing with the eyes a little bit, just nothing really too drastic, but try to simplify the style even further, because I do want to do really sort of realistic, detailed, or surrealistic detailed, more lifelike kind of drawings, but I also like to do the really simplistic, simple illustrations too. I like them both. This is just kind of a self-portrait. I give myself hair in self-portraits as well. I'm an artist, I'm allowed. This is kind of the beginning of that pencil portrait idea, where I kind of want to take a bit more of a realistic approach and add the surrealism and the bits in there. This did become a painting, but when I tried to paint up the face, it looked atrocious, so I did have to change the face a little bit and give him more of a crooked nose and that sort of stuff. I do want to do an entire project based on origami birds, but that's gonna take some time, I think. I don't think that's, again, it's gotta find time for everything. And because I'm working more on a specific type of style at the moment, I've got to plan these paintings out a little bit more than I have to, or used to. This was just a quick sketch for a painting. The painting came out better than the sketch itself. And this is where, again, the paper buckles. I'm not a giant fan of the sketchbook, but because of my intense levels of OCD-like behavior, I had to make sure that if I start something, I have to finish it, or I lose my cool. These are more just sketches, just again trying to play with the style just a little bit, getting the thicker neck and the curvier bodies, and sometimes I will just chuck a shape down and then try and turn a character out of it. But whenever I turn a character out of a shape, it always tends to gear way back more towards this sort of cartoony, I'm not really showing a ton of versatility just by changing the size of the eye and that sort of stuff. But the themes do seem to be continuing anyway. This is another sketch that didn't make it as a painting because I just didn't like how the sketch came out. I mean, it's a bit more along the style that I wanted it to be along, but I'm not good enough yet at painting more realistic portraits, and I'm really going through some tutorials and things like that just to be able to get my values and my color balances right without having everything look flat. And I do love that. Again, I love that flat sort of monochromatic. Is monochromatic the right word? No, matte. That flat, matte kind of look, but I also want it to, again, a bit more realism and see what I can get in there. This is also another pencil sketch that became a painting, and I added a little halo in the painting. It came out okay, actually, and yeah, that just does what it says on the tin. Ooh, 1 second. I do apologise for the small break, but I left the back door open, and of course it's middle of summer, so anything where the door is open or the back door is open, horseflies come into the house and they're really noisy, and I was just spent the last 10 minutes chasing one around my art studio so that the camera didn't pick it up. These, again, kind of practicing portraits. This is kind of more the direction I want my art to go in terms of taking a bit more of a realistic structure, adding surrealist elements, bits and pieces like that. This is a quick cartoon sketch, just getting a little of this tattooed guy I follow on Instagram called Ephemeral Remy. I didn't do his neck tattoos. I would like to do a proper full pencil sketch of him, but that's gonna take some time. I do like to find my random random Instagram people, anybody with unusual features or something like that, just to help me practice. I am redoing also that 100 heads challenge that was doing the rounds a while ago. This is a adaptation evolution of a character I did years ago. This is from, I know it says 2004 there, but it's probably from earlier than that. This is way back when I first started drawing and I wanted to get more into comic books. And I was doing these simplistic, quirky, but dark things, comic books, things like that. I wasn't very good at it, but I never promised the world I'd be a good artist. I just promised the world and myself that I would be an artist, I would make stuff. But this, I love the ideas that I came up with this, but I didn't have the skill to execute them properly. And this is kind of where I took him. And I think he would make a good comic book character. Let me know what you think, actually, because if you'd like to see more comic-y stuff, then I can do that. Right, she is a pencil drawing that became, obviously the hairstyle is inspired by the Victorian stuff, and I've become re-obsessed with Wednesday. I never expected to love Wednesday because I was a Christina Ricci Wednesday. That's my era of Wednesday, but Jenna Ortega is incredible and I can't wait for season 2. But I took elements of the hairstyle, I loved that, and just brought that into this. I did paint this up, and I loved how it came out, actually. I have to turn my sketchbook here. Ooh, okay. That was just an idea. I think I saw this random hairstyle on Pinterest. It was obviously way more detailed, but came out okay in terms of the illustration. Maybe okay if I did it on a small canvas at some point. I've got quite a few canvases left. Oh, I'm also still playing with the idea. If you've seen a few of my other videos, I play with the idea of sort of long ponytails and things like that. Her face got a bit too angular for my liking, but the idea, I think I can explore it a bit more and maybe make it work later if I get some time. It's always finding time, isn't it? Right, I said before that I draw a lot from my dreams and sometimes real life. This is a quick little sketch I did because one night, without even looking, I went into the cupboard, poured myself a small glass of milk, went to drink it, felt something weird, and there was a spider literally hanging off my lips. There was a spider in the glass of milk and I'd been drinking from it. So I'm traumatized forever now. And even though it was oat milk, I'm still leaning into that kind of, I have to check all my glasses now. A new phobia has been unlocked. Yeah, so don't know what this was from. Don't know what the idea was from this. I might have just been sketching. I still got to get a bit more inventive with the clothes, I think. So maybe a sketching fashion challenge. If you know of any, let me know. Just something to help the clothing get a bit more interesting. Now, she became a painting that I'm very happy with, and the painting is actually for sale on my Folksy if you're interested, or if you want a print of it, let me know. But right now, this sketch is just from, I think, from the 100 Heads challenge, the last one I didn't finish. And yeah, I'm kind of exploring whether I have adult ADHD because a lot of things are lining up. And yeah, it's just kind of, that's something else I've got to explore. Like I said, this is part journal as well. So if you have any resources on that, that would be great too, because there's a couple of things in my mental health journey that are lining up. And if I can get maybe a diagnosis or some help, that would be great. Right, here is a quick sketch. I love adding the whole extra eye thing, the vampire. I know when you look at it, it does something weird to your eye, but to your eyes. But I do like that came out, just a quick little illustration. And these are either metaphors for sadness or metaphors for depression, metaphors for overwhelm. I don't know quite what they are, but I loved drawing them. And it's also, I do like, it's a good thing to do in your sketchbooks, to sort of draw on post-its and put them in there. It does create a texture and an idea that I like. Another owl, because I like drawing owls, and I also want to do, I did a whole set of owls last year, I think it was, and I would like to do another one, but explore more colours and more ideas. The only reason I stopped, I think, is I did a little bit of burnout, and I began to judge the quality of my artwork against other people's, and I got myself into a comparison coma, and it didn't end well. So I'm back doodling owls again, and that's where we are. These are just some watercolour on watercolour papers, just blotch testing, because I kind of wanted to incorporate all these colours into the owls and to see if I could maybe draw the owls on top of these kinds of textures. I haven't gone through with that experiment yet, but it was kind of relates to the beginning of the sketchbook where I was trying to sort all of that out. She became a painting that I don't like anymore, and I'm going to redo parts of the face because in the painting she came out, I don't like how the eyes came out. So I am going to try and make sure that I've done another version of it slightly on the iPad, and I'm going to update that again when I get a bit of extra time. I mean, no one's pressing to buy her. I don't think a painting is sold until it's I don't think a painting is finished until it is sold. So yeah, but I'm still carrying on with that Victorian theme and the braids and all that sort of stuff. Again, another quick sketch. This is just something I did bored. There's no real huge meaning behind it as far as I'm aware. My subconscious might tell you different, but there we are. Also, I had an idea years ago for this whole series of men with crowns, and I do have a mental health project that I'm working on for men's mental health, or at least incorporating themes of men's mental health in a project, and I'm just sort of waiting for my skill set to match the ideas that I have, but also in saying that I'm aware that your skill set will never fully match the ideas that you have, because from what I've read, your ideas are roughly 2 to 5 years ahead of your skill set, and that's by design to keep you moving. I think, maybe. Who knows? Let's not get meta today. Or why not? This is a quick pencil sketch. I'll zoom in here because I'm quite proud of how this came out, because this is a taste of the elements of the designs that I want to do later on. I came up with the idea because I went onto Pinterest and I picked the first 5 pins that came up on my For You space, or my For You page, whatever that front page is called, and I just incorporated them all together. So there was a woman with long hair, this old man's face, a crow, there was some antlers somewhere in the background, an owl, and this fashion jacket thing. I just flung them all together, but I really like how it came out. I'm not sure how or if I'm ever going to paint it though, but we'll see if I can sort of get my skill set up to par. This is another, I do love tiny worlds, and I love tiny worlds in places they're not supposed to be. So this idea of a house and a little miniature city and a village existing on a woman's hat, it just does it for me. I do like miniature worlds. I think if you're an 80s child from the UK, you'll understand borrowers, and I live in the spirit of wanting to be a borrower forever. Okay, no apologies, no guilt. Masks was a theme I was exploring years ago, but it came up again a little bit recently, and again, I think it's when I'm also guilty of not spending enough time exploring these ideas through, because this is something I want to do a little bit more of, but again, I don't think I did it justice, the idea, and the faces I'm drawing are getting very samey, and I'm not great with that. This is part of my old cartooning style, where I was doing a draw my day challenge, or draw the most interesting thing about my day challenge for 30 days. I'm definitely going to do that again, but might have to be next year, because that's how many projects I have in front of it. But this is just, I think it's a Pentel brush pen, and just some Poscas and some, what are they called? Pro markers. Yeah, so that was just I might do a few of these as art drops, because they're kind of fun to do. this is just a random design I do every now and again. Tower people. I tried to do it in a different colour pen. Do not like how it came out in my head. It was very different, but the design might be interesting if I did it on a big canvas, maybe. Maybe. This is, I think, a mixture again of two ideas on Pinterest. This girl had really, really crazy hair, and this other girl had this really interesting look in her eyes. So I just smashed them both together, came out with this quick illustration, decided not to do anything too vibrant or colourful on it. I wanted a little bit of, I think that's just, is it? Yeah, it's just black, really watered down watercolour with graphite over it. I did these people flying on origami birds, a few illustrations of those literally a decade ago, and a reminder came up in my phone and I wanted to give it another go, and I like how it came out and I want to do a few more of them. Yeah. Ooh, practicing eyes. I think this is where I'm starting to get a little bit more into, I want to get a bit more realistic with the work I'm doing, and just, I kind of, in terms of portraits, trying to break down the face and draw get into practice of drawing eyes regularly, get into practice of drawing noses and lips regularly, because they are weak spots for me. I seem to have the placement of everything okay, but it's it's getting the features and the values and the making it not look like a completely flat illustration. I had to pause it again because now I'm not chasing any more horseflies, but my neighbour is having housework done and decided to start drilling. So I'm hoping I can get through this before they start drilling again. This is just a quick little sketch I did. I love the colour balance of the oranges and the browns. It seems to be a theme I'm in right now. And this is just a collection of owls' faces, but I actually think this might look nice on a canvas. With like dark brown ochre background and all these owls' faces staring at you. So that might be definitely saved for a future project. Again, going through the whole twisted antlers, twisted horns, trying to make the dresses and bits a little bit more interesting. Face, just an ordinary face that I do. I'm not that concerned with that, but I think the idea on a canvas with like a foresty background and all that sort of stuff might look nice. How am I doing? Yeah, more sketches of faces. I think I got that from a different sketchbook that because I have like 4 or 5 sketchbooks on the go at once, and that was I was sketching in something I normally carry this with me, but if I don't have it with me, if I have another sketchbook or a bit of paper, anyway, cut that out and chuck that in here. This is, I think this might be another Pinterest thing that I threw 5 or 6 images together and then added the little bits that I liked, or 2 or 3 images. But came out alright, I like it. I think she might make a good sticker. Who knows? Let me know. This was a drawing from a dream. I get really disturbed dreams. I have really awful nightmares pretty much all the time. But this was, I was dreaming that I was existing amongst a race of bird people who were fleeing persecution, and I was trying to help them escape whilst going unnoticed. I wasn't a bird person, but in the dream they were sort of half human. I don't know, my subconscious has its own thing going on a lot of the time. This again is me trying to incorporate might be part of another dream actually. I think I haven't actually finished watching The Last of Us, but that was part of a dream I had after watching an episode. So my brain was doing something there. But I like the idea, the guy in water, but I don't like the face I chose. It's unexplored, but I don't mind because that's what sketchbooks are for. This is just a 4-eyed fairy flying away for no reason. This goes back to that sort of symbolic idea of depression, sadness, mental health, whatever you want to call it, but it's just back to this idea of things following and things actually, that took a surprising amount of time to do. She became a painting as well, and I do really like the painting, and it hasn't sold yet, so I can show you that one. I may, if I can't figure out how to put these paintings sort of segment them in this thing. See, the neighbours are drilling again. I'm gonna lose my bloody mind. Yeah, I'll pause this for a second. Okay, neighbour seems to have calmed down a bit, so we're gonna carry on. Yeah, so she's finished. I'll show you her. This is a quick sketch, again in a different sketchbook, just whatever paper I had available at that time. This just did not come out as I wanted it to, and I was just doodling and just not really paying that much attention, but you know, she's done. And this ephemera I do like, and I love saying the word ephemera. This is the last page. Yes, I do reviews and what I think about my whole sketchbook work. I didn't actually intend for these two to have the exact same face, but there's a lot of same face in this sketchbook, and came out okay though. I'm okay with this page, even though it's a little bit samey and not that detailed. Either way, this is I'm pretty happy with this sketchbook. It did capture a year of my life, and even though it may not be directly what I have thought and felt throughout the year, it really has, or been directly representative. I have memories of the times I was drawing all of these things, and what I was sketching, and what I was thinking, and who I was becoming, and that is kind of the reason I do sketchbooks in the way I do. So thank you for tuning in again. That was my sketchbook tour. The sketchbook I started in 2022. I took a massive break, didn't work in it for ages, but over the last few months, I've given myself a daily practice of 20 minutes every morning in my sketchbook, although I have been neglecting my 20 minutes, my 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I used to wake up early and paint on my canvases, and that I have been neglecting for a while, so I'm gonna figure out how to just kind of balance the both out. But anyway, that's how I got this sketchbook finished eventually, and I've already started in this year's one, my 2023 one, and hopefully it won't take me until halfway through next year to finish that. My goals for that sketchbook are to explore more realism, to get more surrealism, to definitely explore gouache and portraits, and to explore more colour and less of an illustration. I'm gonna do some illustrations, but less of that one, I think. I'm an artist, I might change my mind, who knows? Anyway, like and subscribe and do all the things, and yeah, have a little chat with me in the comments below. I shall see you next week. Also, quickly before I go, here is a sneak preview of 2023. That monster portrait.